you can't have complexity of character necessary to sustain 80, 90, 100 hours of storytelling without moral contradiction. I mean, if people are just, good people versus bad people, that's not going to last very long.
Right.
I mean, that's a feature film.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. And so you need characters with tremendous inner conflicts, and there's various kinds of inner conflicts, but the most compelling are moral conflicts, of course. And I don't know, it's a chicken and egg thing, whether characters with deep moral conflicts led to the development of long form, or long form developed characters with compound moral conflicts because they needed complex characters. So I remember going back to The Wire. I mean, The Wire is, two worlds, the police and the criminals, and you don't know who the good guys are, and definitely the bad guys turn good every when you least expect it. So the complexity of those characters and their moral contradictions were multiple, and so they became, and the cast of that The Wire was fantastic. And then came 6 Feet Under, Mad Men, and so forth. And characters like Don Draper in Mad Men is a profoundly complicated, self-contradictory moral mess who's trying to figure out, he's going through what we used to call an existential crisis, trying to figure out what the point of it all is and who he is, and he's capable of telling any lie and breaking, betraying anybody, and on it goes. And so,
and we're fascinated with that because deep down inside we know that's something maybe like us. Is that why we tune in?
Oh, we wouldn't tune in from day one if we didn't recognize that. I mean, that's empathy, and that's absolute in principal characters. And it happens without thought. I mean, it's not like an audience sits there thinking, that character is somehow human, like me, and so I want him to have whatever he wants, because, if I were that character in those circumstances, I'd want the same thing. I mean, it's not like that. They just sense a thing, that this is a human being. And it's amazing how, somebody else walks in the room and you go, not me. I mean, you're not going to empathize with that character. And I can lecture about it, and I can define it, and I can give examples. But from character to character, from story to story, why readers or audiences find a particular character empathetic and someone else not is there's some kind of one-off going on between the character and the particular person who's reading it or watching it. When two sensitive, intelligent people watch the same film and have two entirely opposite reactions, it's got nothing to do with the film or the novel or whatever. It has everything to do with empathy. The one who liked it empathized. The one who didn't. Why one did and one didn't, who can say? But it's that. It's empathy. So that has to hook them, from the pilot episode or from the first 10, 15 minutes of a film, the first chapter of a novel. You have to feel there's a shared humanity.
You must have empathy to have a successful anything, any type of story.
Well, yeah, there are exceptions. I don't think there's any empathy in Agatha Christie. I mean, we sympathize with the Miss Marples and the Sherlock Holmeses and master detectives, are sympathetic characters, but you don't actually empathize with the master detective because they're superhuman. They never screw up. They always get, whoever. And so they're beyond empathy, but they're charming. They're sympathetic. You like them, but you don't empathize with them. So there's always an exception. But generally, yeah, without empathy, there are films or books that you might read to the end just to get the answer to the question, how does this turn out? Certainly, certain thrillers or crime stories, you may or may not empathize, but your curiosity gets you to turn the pages. And so there's always exceptions. But generally, No, without empathy, there's no involvement. And in something serial, like a television series, they're not going to be back next week. And from season to season, they're certainly not going to be back next year without empathy. I mean, I can't wait for Game of Thrones to, get back, and so I can, because we don't watch them one a week. We collect them. We do it most. I'm sure. We wait until the season and then we binge, right? There must be 15, 20 characters in Game of Thrones I empathize with. There's practically no one there I don't empathize with. Same thing in Michael Hirst's marvelous series, The Vikings. Again, there's a multitude of empathetic characters on both sides of the battles, and people get, because of empathy is so powerful, it builds in long form. In a film, you empathize for 2 hours and it's over, right? But in long form, season after season, these people become your friends. You worry about them. You think about them more than you do your friends. I mean,
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.